Good evening, all. On behalf of the Faculty of Management Studies, the Open University of Sri Lanka, I warmly welcome you all to the introductory session on how to prepare and do a great presentation in a 3MT competition. First and foremost, I cordially welcome Professor Nalin Abesekara, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies. And then I cordially welcome Professor Champika Lienagamage, Conference Chair of ICOME 2023. And then I warmly welcome all the heads of the departments and academics of Faculty of Management Studies. I especially welcome our resource person, Dr. R.M. Shashika Rathnayaka. Also, I warmly welcome all the members of Faculty of Management Studies and all our beloved 3MT participants. Faculty of Management Studies of Open University of Sri Lanka has decided to host the second international conference on management and entrepreneurship on 11th and 12th May 2023 on a virtual platform with the intention of creating a forum for all stakeholders, including scholars, professionals, policymakers, students, to get together and share their ideas and knowledge to generate a better world with equity and sustainability. With the theme of the whole new world, the challenge of change and re-envisioning the business management landscape. The conference have also decided to have a 3MT session, that is 3 minutes thesis. The grand finale for the 3MT session will be held at the ICOME 2023 on 11th May 2023. This session is all about an introductory session, which will enlighten all the 3MT participants to perform better at the grand finale. For this session, we're really having a high caliber academician with us today as a resource person. Further to proceed this session, I cordially invite Professor Champika Lienagamage, Conference Chair of ICOME 2023, to share her thoughts. Madam, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vinatra. Good evening, everybody. Professor Nalin Abesekara, Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies. I think he will be joining very soon. And Dr. Shashika Rathnayaka, today's speaker, and professors and my dear faculty colleagues, and the participants of 3MT competition of ICOME 2023. Let me officially welcome all of you to the very important information session conducted by Dr. Shashika Rathnayaka. ICOME 2022 was a very successful event that we had last year, though it was the very first international conference organized by the faculty in the Open University. So with the leadership of Professor Nalin Abesekara and Professor Siva Lokadasan. So this time also we in ICOME 2022 also we had a very successful 3MT competition together with this ICOME 2022. 3MT or 3-minute presentation is a highly recognized international research communication competition developed by the University of Queensland in 2008. The objective of 3MT competition are to cultivate higher research students' academic, presentation, and research communication skills. And the purpose of this session, today's session, is to guide all 3MT competitors on how to prepare and do a great presentation in 3MT competition in ICOME 2023. Dr. Shashika is the correct resource person. I think we have chosen to do this session. If I brief about Dr. Shashika. So I have her profile with me. Dr. Shashika Rathnayaka is a research fellow at the Roberts Institute of University of Aberdeen, United Kingdom. And she holds a PhD in economics from Griffith University, Australia. Dr. Shashika was a recipient of the Griffith University International Postgraduate Research Scholarship, Griffith University Postgraduate Research Scholarship, Griffith University Publication Assistance Scholarships, blah, blah, blah. It goes like that. So if I read everything, I think the time that we have allocated for today's session will be, I will be destroying that. So I think Dr. Shashika is a very experienced resource person to conduct this session. She also a winner of 3MPT competition. So I would like to cordially invite Dr. Shashika to start the session. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Chambika Lienagamage. And can you hear me well? And can you see me?
Yes, we can hear you, but still we can't see you.
Yes. I think now you can see me. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for having me today, especially organizers of this event and also the conference. And yes, as you already know, I was able to win the 3MT competition in economics, accounting, and finance, organized by Griffith University, Australia, while I was doing my PhD. I think it happened in the third year of my PhD. Then in 2022, after I completed my PhD, I came back to Sri Lanka and reassumed duties as a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Animal Science and Export Agriculture, OLS University of Sri Lanka. Then, of course, I was invited to conduct 3MT workshops, webinars, training sessions, and to judge 3MT competitions by different universities in Sri Lanka. For instance, University of Peradeniya, Sabragunu University of Sri Lanka. And then I wanted to introduce this competition to my faculty and my university. Of course, we did that, and I think they are going to conduct it this year for the third time. Anyway, I left my job as a senior lecturer at OLS University last year, and I joined the University of Aberdeen as a research fellow. That's my current role. That role is more into research, but I do some teaching as well, research, postgraduate supervision, and teaching. Okay, that's about me. And yes, so let me open my slides. Yes, I hope you can see my slides. Yes. Can you see my slides?
Yes, Dr. Shashika, we can see.
Yes, thank you. Perfect. So today we are going to talk about how to make a winning 3MT presentation. Okay. So this is the roadmap for my presentation. First, I'm going to talk about introduction to 3MT. What is 3MT? As you know about 3MT, Professor Chambika Lienagamage, she gave a little introduction to 3MT competition. And we are going to see the history of 3MT competition and why do we need to participate in a 3MT competition. Next, most important thing, how to make a winning 3MT presentation. So how to write your 3MT script, you should have a 3MT script, and how to make your one slide, 3MT presentation slide, then how to deliver your 3MT presentation. Okay. Introduction to 3MT. 3MT, 3-minute thesis, and it's a competition. 3MT, 3-minute thesis competition, simply one slide, 3 minutes, and outstanding ideas. Yes, outstanding ideas. These ideas about what? Are they about politics, current politics, or current economic crisis, or any societal change? Oh, no. Of course, these outstanding ideas about your research project. You could be you could be an undergraduate student, you could be a postgraduate student, MPhil or MSc or maybe PhD student or DBS student. Okay, so within 3 minutes, using one slide, you are going to present outstanding ideas about your research project. Okay. And 3MT is an academic competition developed by the University of Queensland, Australia, for research students, and it challenges for participants to describe their research within 3 minutes to a general audience. Of course, the challenge, you will have to distill your research down to 3 minutes, and which is understandable to your general audience. Remember, it's not for an academic community. It is for a general audience. I will come to this point later as well, okay? Using only one slide as a visual aid. Yes, your thesis in 3 minutes. If you take a PhD thesis, it might have 80,000 words usually. If you want to present 80,000 words, it says that it will usually take more than 9 hours. But the challenge here, you will have to present it in 3 minutes, within 3 minutes. Okay, let's see the history of this competition. Yes, what do you see here? Yes, under the history, yes, you can see 2 objects here. Yes, one is, this is a timer, 3-minute egg timer. Okay, we usually use this in our kitchens. Okay, when we boil eggs, we need this timer, especially Western countries, they use 3 empty timers. And you can see here a picture of a bathroom, a shower. Then how these 2 objects related to 3 empty history? Okay, let me explain. Probably you already know this. The idea for the 3 empty competition came about at a time when the state of Queensland, Australia was suffering severe drought. Okay, Queensland, Australia, yes, at that time they were suffering severe drought, and they want to conserve water. To conserve water, residents were encouraged to time their shower. We cannot waste water when there is a drought. So residents were encouraged to time their showers, and many people had a 3-minute egg timer. They fixed a 3-minute egg timer in their bathrooms, fixed to the wall in their bathroom. Then what happened? The dean of the UQ Graduate School, Emeritus Professor Alan Lawson, put this idea together. Yes, 2 ideas. But 3 empty, 3 minutes, no, yes, it's not thesis. 3-minute timer, because while he was in a bath, he realized that, okay, if we can have a shower within 3 minutes, why research students cannot present their projects or research or thesis within 3 minutes? So he put this idea together, 3-minute timer and the thesis, and came up with this amazing idea, 3 empty competition, 3-minute thesis competition. That is the birth of 3 empty competition. Yes, the first 3 empty was held at the University of Queensland in 2008 with 160 research higher degree students, RHD, research higher degree students competing. They had their very first 3 empty competition in 2028. Okay, now 3 empty is held in over 600 universities. See, over 600 universities across more than 85 countries worldwide. Yes. So the Open University of Sri Lanka and the Faculty of Management Studies, you have been a member of 3 empty competition. And now, as I heard, you are going to conduct this competition in parallel to the conference for the 2nd time, Amazing. So why participate? Why do we need to participate in a 3 empty competition? Yes, what made you participate or what motivated you? Yes, we can communicate your ideas effectively to the wider community. Okay, as researchers, we need to, after lot of time and lot of effort, we come up with some research findings. Okay, then we want to communicate these research findings. How do we communicate our research findings? The most common method, maybe we present at a conference. Of course, this happens at the beginning or middle of the research project. After we present in our papers in a conference, we get some positive feedback and we get some constructive comments and we improve our research. And once everything is done, once we came up with some amazing research findings, then we want to publish them in international recognized peer-reviewed index journals. That is our main objective as researchers. Yes, that is one of the ways of communicating research findings to an audience. But if we publish our research in international journals, usually the audience is academic community, especially the people, scientific world in your discipline. Suppose you come from economics discipline, then economists will read these journals. Suppose you come from management or marketing or accounting, finance, then people who are in your field, they will read your articles. But if you want to communicate your findings to a general audience, the general public, the best thing, 3MT, yes, you can communicate your ideas effectively to the wider community and describe your research findings to a non-specialized audience. You are going to present to a non-specialized audience, not just to an academic community or scientific world. And the third one, it's a bit funny, crystallize your thoughts about your thesis. Suppose you are doing a PhD or DPA or maybe MPhil or MSc. And if somebody suddenly asks, what are you doing? What is your research? Under your research project, what are you doing? Maybe you'll be stuck. You don't have a clear idea. It can happen to anybody. We are doing things, but it's not easy to summarize what we are doing. So when you get ready for the 3MT competition, definitely you will crystallize your thoughts about your thesis and raise the profile of your work, of course, and enhance your CV. Suppose you win the competition, win a 3MT competition, okay? Then definitely you will add that to your CV. It will enhance your profile. Of course, you don't need to win a competition. Suppose you just participate in a 3MT competition. Definitely you can list down it in your CV. You can add that to your CV. It will add some value to your profile. And network with like-minded researchers. Why do we come to conferences to present our research? Because one of the things we can communicate our findings and also networking. So network with like-minded researchers, it is applicable to 3MT competition as well. Okay. Just as I mentioned you before, one of the best experiences I have had during my PhD, 3MT. So, yes, now you have decided to participate in the competition. This competition has rules developed by the University of Queensland, Australia. So as participants, you should have some understanding of competition rules. Let's see what are the competition rules. Yes. A static PowerPoint slide. Yes. You cannot use, not like other presentations, you cannot use several slides. You will have to use a single and a static PowerPoint slide. Why it is static? Because you cannot use transitions, animations, or movements of description. This is very important. Remember, when you make your PowerPoint slide, you cannot add transitions or animations or any movement of description. No slide transitions, animations, or movement of description. And no additional electronic media, sounds, video filters, no. And no additional props. No costume, you cannot use them. And musical instruments, or you cannot take laboratory equipments. If you are kind of, maybe suppose you are doing a research in a lab, then maybe you want to take some laboratory equipment to convince your idea. No, you can't in 3MT competition. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes maximum. and competition exceeding 3 minutes are disqualified. And I think as in your first round, as I came to know, you are going to have a virtual competition, maybe your final heat as a physical or in-person competition. Especially remember, when you make your virtual 3MT presentation, you should limit it to 3 minutes. And also, this is very applicable to when we do physical competition. If you exceed 3 MTs, 3 minutes, then you will be disqualified. Suppose you did you made an amazing presentation, okay? But if you exceed 3 minutes, then you will be disqualified. Presentation are to be spoken word. That means no poems, no raps, no songs. Okay. Presentations are to commence from the stage. Suppose you are doing it, doing a physical competition, in-person one. Okay, not kind of virtual one. Then to commence from the stage, and presentations are considered to have comments when a presenter start their presentation. Yes, through either movement or a speech. The decision of the judge panel is final, like in any competition. Okay. In addition to these competition rules, remember participants, 3MT participants, there is a judging criteria, okay? Judging criteria developed by the University of Queensland again. Because of this time restriction, so we just have 1 hour. So I'm not going to explain judging criteria, evaluation criteria, but it is good to know about evaluation criteria. Then you know how your presentation will be evaluated. What is the criteria? Okay. So if you want, I can share them with you, or else I think you can easily find them on Google. Okay. You can just Google it. Yes. Next thing, we are going to get ready for the 3MT presentation. Now you know what is 3MT, 3-minute thesis competition, and the history of 3MT competition, and why do we need to participate in a competition, and also the competition rule. Okay, and you have a homework, that is you should go through evaluation criteria before you make your 3MT presentation. Okay, now we are going to start it. First thing, 3MT script. Okay, 3-minute thesis a script. Okay, a script. This is script to a stage drama or a teledrama. For what? No, for your thesis. You are going to write a script about your thesis. It could be an undergraduate thesis, or that is called dissertation, or MSc one, or MPhil thesis, or PhD or DBA thesis. So you are going to write a script based on your thesis, research thesis. Okay. Suppose you are getting ready for a defense. You are going to defend your thesis, MPhil defense exam, thesis examination, okay? Or PhD thesis defense examination. You are going to ready for that? Or then in that case, are you going to write a script? I don't think so. You wouldn't write a script for your presentation, thesis defense presentation. Suppose you're an undergraduate student. I guess all the people here, all the 3MT participants here, they have done their undergraduate research project already. Okay. Then remember your final presentation. When you get ready for your final presentation, did you write a script? I don't think so. We don't encourage students to write a script and read the script in a presentation, but definitely you will get some point on a paper. You will write some important points, and during presentation you think and you conceptualize and you present things. But remember, in 3MT competition, the challenge is you will have to present your thesis within 3 minutes. So you don't have time to think about your research, or you don't have time to conceptualize within 3 minutes. That's why you need a script beforehand. මතක් කළා කියන්න වෙලාව නැහැ 3MT competition එක. That is why you need a script beforehand. If you have a script beforehand, if you have practiced it, then you can present it easily. Okay, so let's see how to write a 3MT script. Remember, before you write your 3MT script, you should know you are going to present to a non-specialist audience. This is very, very important. You are not going to present this to an academic audience or scientific community. Remember, this is for a non-specialist audience. Okay, that is one of the basic criteria in 3-minute competition. So, when we say it's a non-specialist audience, don't underestimate the audience. Okay, don't underestimate the audience because they are non-specialist audience, but remember, they are as intelligent as you and they are as informed as you. But the problem is they haven't had time to do your research. They haven't had time to conduct your research. That is the only difference. They are intelligent, they are informed, but they haven't had time to conduct your research. That is why they are called a non-specialist audience. Okay, so don't underestimate the audience. And that's why you need to tailor your talk to your audience. You will have to customize your talk, tailor your talk to your audience. And don't try to introduce yourself because you have just 3 minutes. Don't acknowledge your lab members or your research group members or funding agents, and don't try to show you data. Okay? You don't have time. And think about why this topic would be of interest to any person of the street. Of course, absolutely, you will be interested about your research, and your supervisors, your thesis supervisors, they are interested about your research, and funding agents, they are interested about your research. Think about why this topic, why your research topic be of interest to any person of the street, other than your context, okay? Does this help with finding a cure for cancer, for instance? Will it solve global warming? If you take local context or Sri Lanka context, my research, okay, my findings will add some value to export sector or tourism sector. Will this project help to solve a problem in tourism sector or agriculture sector, or it will help to solve the current economic crisis or inflation, like that? Think about why this topic would be of interest to any person of the street. Then you can relate your research to non-specialist audience or general public. And especially avoid jargon. You cannot use jargon. And academic language. Okay? Since we are going to present this to a general audience or non-specialist audience, we cannot use academic language. We cannot use. I know when you synthesize or when you write your script, you might come across with some problems. For some of the terms, we cannot find general terms. In that case, yes, we cannot simplify. We cannot simplify too much. But as a rule, remember, we try to avoid jargon and academic language. Try to simplify. Use shorter words. Okay, shorter words and shorter sentences. When you write your script, use shorter words, shorter sentences, and shorter paragraphs. Not like your thesis. When you write our thesis, we use our academic language and long sentences and different structures. But now we are going to present this to a non-specialist audience. So use shorter words, shorter sentences, and shorter paragraphs. Choose active verbs over passive verbs. I suggest you to use active verbs over passive verbs because you are going to present it. It's not a write-up. Okay. Highlight the outcome of your research and the desired outcomes. That is very important, because when we try to communicate our research to even to a scientific community, suppose you are going to write a research paper, journal article, or a poster, academic poster, we emphasize our finding. We usually give a priority for our findings. That is the core of research. So here also highlight the outcomes of your research, and suppose you haven't finished or you haven't completed your research yet, you are in the middle of your research, then you don't have exact findings, but you can highlight the desired outcome. This is very important. If you are in the middle of your research project, if you haven't finished your project yet, so you can highlight the desired outcome. This is what I expect from my research, and convey your excitement and enthusiasm for your subject. If you want to attract your audience to your topic, definitely you should show your excitement and enthusiasm for your subject. And I recommend or I suggest you to tell a story. When you write your 3M script, better write a story, because we know people usually like to listen to story. They enjoy stories. So try to find a attractive start or the beginning, and a clear middle and nice ending. Okay, then tell a story. I'll explain you how to tell a story. Try writing an opener to catch the attention of the audience. When you start your 3MT presentation, first thing, okay, within first few seconds, you need to grab the attention of your audience. How to do that? You need to be tricky. You need to be strategic in that case. Try to write an opener like this. See? If you use a hook to grab the attention of the audience, that is the best thing. Yes? The hook, this is a trick from journalism to get a reader involved in what you are saying. Yes, you can use the same strategy here. If you want to grab the audience attention within first few seconds, use an opener or hook. Okay, this is usually practiced by journalists. You know about this. Suppose you are reading a newspaper, and sometimes journalists, they use very attractive news heading to grab readers' attention. And think about YouTube. Some YouTube channel owners, they use very attractive headings to grab audience attentions. Like that, you can use a hook to grab attention of your audience. Start something that is relevant to your audience. Usually the research we do, they are highly specific and good for scientific community or academic work, but there should be something which is important to a general audience. So focus on that point. Based on that, you can make an opener, or you can write an opener, or you can create a hook. Okay, start with something that is relevant to your audience to hook them into your story. Some people, okay, they use most of 3MT participants, they use the term imagine. We can say, okay, imagine you are living in a world with no trees. If you are talking about, if you are doing a research about greenhouse gas emission or something, yes, you can say, okay, imagine you are living in the world with no trees. Just to grab the attention of the audience, let's see what previous 3MT winners have used in their presentation. I'm presenting here just a couple of examples. This has been used by Asia Pacific finalist in 2021. Yes, he or she is from Victoria University, Australia. And you can see, did you grow up in a picture perfect family? What is picture perfect family? It's a perfect family with no any issue. So when we ask this question from the audience, definitely we can grab their attention. We can say, okay, did you grow up in a picture perfect family? Then everybody think about themselves. And this is 2022 Asia Pacific finalist, University of New South Wales, Australia. What does your breath say about you? And look at this one. He's asking a question in his 3MT competition. This is the opener, or this is the hook used by Asia Pacific winner from University of Auckland. But he has used, which is stronger, the land or the sea? The sea, of course. Then he gives the answer. The sea, of course, it has so many muscles. See, it has some humor too. Yes, so you can use humor, okay? But use it carefully because you cannot just be a joker, but it's okay to use humor to attract your audience attention. Write too much. Definitely you will do it because suppose you are writing your 3MT script, okay? It's just for 3 minutes, but your thesis, if you have a PhD thesis, maybe more than 80,000 words. So it's not easy, very challenging, tricky. So you will write too much. That's okay. You can write too much and then cut back, okay? Distill, and distill again. Finally, you should distill your research down to 3 minutes, okay? Write too much, cut back, distill, and distill again. Okay. I suggest you to use the story method, tell a story, and use an opener or hook to grab the audience attention. Remember, then first minute will be more attractive because you use an opener or hook or maybe humor, some jokes, okay? But when you use jokes or humor, you need to be careful as well. Anyway, then the middle part of your presentation should also be attractive because you should maintain the flow, you should maintain the beauty of your talk. Otherwise, you will lose the attention of your audience. This happens in most of talks. First part of the talk is very attractive. Then you might lose the attention of the audience. So you need to be very careful about the middle part of your talk as well. Okay? Maintain the flow of your talk. And so you should have a beautiful or very attractive a start or beginning. Then you should have a clear middle part of your presentation. Then nice ending. Probably you can give them a take-home message. Yes. Know what you want your audience to take away from your presentation. Use your presentation, 3MT presentation, to give a take-home message. That's about your research. That's about what you are doing. Okay? So that is very important, take-home message. And I can summarize like this. In summary, try to leave the audience with an understanding of what you are doing. Yes, you should explain what you are doing and why it is important and what you hope to achieve or what you have already achieved. Suppose you have already done your project, then what you have achieved. Or if you are in the middle of your research, if you haven't completed your research yet, then you can say what you hope to achieve. These 3 points very, very important. What you are doing, why it is important, and what you hope to achieve. Okay? But if you just start with what you are doing, probably you wouldn't be able to get audience attention. So the best thing I would say, you can start why it is important. When you use hook and opener or very attractive way of asking question in the first few seconds of your 3MT presentation, that means you are going to explain why it is important. Okay? Then you can say what you are doing and what you hope to achieve or what you have already achieved in your project. Okay. Now you have some idea about how to write a 3MT script. 3MT script is very, very important. Without a script, you cannot do this. And that's why I told you before as well. We usually don't encourage our students to come up with that script and do a presentation if it is a normal presentation. ඔගොල්ලෝ දන්නා මොනවා හරි script එකක් ලියාගෙන කියවද්දී අපි ඒකම කියවනවා. හරි මේක artificial presentation, normal talk එක. But here in 3MT competition, you should have a 3MT script. You should have a script. Because within 3 minutes, you cannot think and talk. Then you will be stuck. So definitely you should have a script. When you write your script, need to be very careful. It is for a general audience, I mean non-specialist audience, not just for an academic or scientific person. So, but don't underestimate your audience because they are as informed and as intelligent as you are. But they haven't had time to do or conduct your research. That's the difference. Don't use academic language, too much academic language. Don't use jargon. And try to tell a story with a nice start to grab the audience attention. You can ask a question to grab their attention. You can use humor, jokes, but need to be careful as well. Okay? Then clear middle. Don't lose audience attention in the middle of your talk. And nice ending as well. You can give a take-home message to them. Finally, in summary, you should say what you are doing and why it is important and what you hope to achieve or what you have already achieved. That's about 3MT script. Then we are going to see how to make your 3MT presentation slide. Okay. One single static PowerPoint slide. As you already know, one single static PowerPoint slide. Okay, you cannot use too many slides, just one. And it is static. It's not dynamic. So you cannot use transitions, animations, or any movement of description. No additional electronic media, sounds. Don't use sounds, video file, okay? And don't overcrowd your slide. Since you just use one slide, don't try to overcrowd it. I know you're going to explain 80,000 words of your thesis. You have 80,000. You have already written 80,000 words in your thesis if you are a PhD student and if you're at the end of your thesis, okay? And you want to say a lot of things, you want to show a lot of things in your slide, but don't do it. Don't overcrowd your slide. You need to be very creative in this case. And less is more. That is very important. Less is more. Because text and complicated graphics can distract your audience. If you use too many text and complicated graphics, it can distract your audience. So your audience would not pay attention to your talk. They will try to understand the presentation slide. Okay? So text and complicated graphics can distract your audience. So less is more. Don't rely on your slide to convey your message. We know some people do this, not only in 3MT competitions, but also in other presentations as well. They just reread the slide. We can read the slide. You don't need to, presenter don't need to read the slides. So just don't rely on your slide to convey your message. It's not a substitute to your 3MT presentation, okay? It should simply complement your oration. It should simply complement. It should add some value to your oration, but it cannot substitute your oration. Or you just cannot read your slide, okay? And remember, an engaging visual presentation can make or break any oration. I think this is common to any PowerPoint presentation. Yes, suppose you get a very beautiful, amazing, engaging visual presentation, but it can make or break any oration. So you need to be careful about your slide, especially when you make one slide for your single 3MT competition. When you make single slide, a static slide for your 3MT competition. And so you want your slide to be legible, readable, clear, and concise. Okay, and should be attractive too, because we want to grab audience attention. Okay, these are some examples. If you just Google, you can find hundreds of example 3MT slides. So I just grab these things. Okay, you can see 2012 Lathrop University, one of 3MT presenters has used this one. Since this is something related to management, I thought this would work for your audience. Okay. Can accounting make corporations green? See the picture? Other than this title, of course, this is not the thesis title. This is a kind of abstract of your thesis title. Okay. This represents your research thesis. And it is attractive itself. And he hasn't used any graphs or anything about data or any complicated conceptual framework or theoretical model or empirical models. Just this picture. Oh, sorry. Just this picture you can see. But it gives a clear message about his topic. And when we see this picture, just definitely, we want to hear more from him, the presenter. So we need to be very creative when we make our presentation slide, one slide, single slide. Okay, look at this. This is the presenter and this is a slide. You cannot see any text. You don't see any text, but picture itself speaks a lot. So, yes, she might be telling a beautiful story about her research based on this picture, using this picture. So this picture is just a complement. It's not a substitute to her talk. It will add some value to her talk. And look at this again. Maybe this is related to economics or finance or accounting. Say was spent. That is just the topic. Okay, title, a very attractive one, and just a picture. Slide. Okay, single slide, and it should be static. No animation, no transition, no music, no video file, and don't use complicated graphics or graphs, complicated equation or text. It will distract your audience. Okay. Now you know how to write 3MT script and how to make your single slide. It should be attractive and meaningful too. It should be something related to your topic, okay? And the last part, delivering your 3MT presentation. You are going to, now the script is ready and the slide is ready. Now time to deliver your 3MT presentation. Okay. Yes. The problem or the issue most of us have, fear of public speaking. But I think now most of our students or our academic or research community, we are doing hundreds of presentations during our undergraduate studies, postgraduate studies. We don't have this fear much now, but this is very common, fear of public speaking. Yes. Look at top 10 fears of the world. Yes, this is very common to anybody. First one, fear of flying. Then the second fear, public speaking. So what is the medicine? How to cure this? Yes. Let's see. Feeling nervous before you present is very natural. It is natural. I think this is common to any public speaker or a lecturer. Yes, it is natural. When you have more experience, this could be different, but feeling nervous before you present is natural. And a little nervousness can even be beneficial to overall speech. Okay? A little nervousness, okay. Because if you don't feel nervous, then you wouldn't get ready for your presentation or your performance or your talk. You wouldn't practice it. But feeling nervous before you present is very natural, and a little nervousness can even be beneficial. Then you will practice beforehand. Okay. So the medicine for this fear is practice. Practice, practice, and practice your timing as well. Because you will have to deliver your presentation. You will have to present your thesis within 3 minutes. Okay, 3 minutes. So practice your timing too. Not just practice. Practice your timing too. And speak clearly. That is very, very important. Your pronunciation and your vocal range. Okay, this is very important. I know that some 3MT participants, since I have judged a couple of 3MT competition back home in Sri Lanka. So I know some participants, 3MT participants, they just use a monotone. Okay, tone. Don't do that. Use a walk. You should practice that. Some people, I mean, inborn, they have that vocal range. In some point, you will have to talk fast. In some point, you will have to be slow. And in some point, at some point, you will have to speak louder. And at some point, you will have to speak soft. Okay? So try to find your own rhythm. Do not rush. Find your rhythm, because I have seen that some participants or students, their challenge is presenting their thesis within 3 minutes. So they think, okay, I should speak very fast, like a fast train. Do not rush. That is not good. Okay, you will fail then. So do not rush. Find your rhythm. I think we all have our own rhythm. Try to identify that. Okay, use a variety of vocal range. And remember to focus at key points. If you want to emphasize something to your audience, that's okay to pause your story or talk. Okay, so this is very important. Remember to focus at key points. Then it will give time to your audience to think about your topic. Okay, so remember to pause at key points. And stand straight and confidently. That is your personality. You should show that to attract audience attention, as well as to attract your judge panel, evaluation panel. Okay, so stand straight and confidently. You can do this even with your virtual competition. When you make your presentation, video presentation, 3MT presentation. Okay, your posture, very important. You can show your personality even with the virtual presentation. Stand straight and confidently. Hold your head up and make eye contact, especially when you do a physical competition or physical presentation, in-person presentation. Okay, eye contact, very important. You can look at the audience, not just one person. Okay, look at the audience. Eye contact, very, very important in public speaking. I don't need to tell those things. You already know, I know. Okay, and especially when you make virtual presentation, how to maintain your eye, how to make your eye contact. Yes, how to make eye contact. The best thing, look at the camera. If you look at the camera, that means you are looking at the audience. Suppose I'm doing this presentation without looking at the camera. I'm looking at somewhere else. then I will lose my eye contact. So hold your head up and make eye contact. Even with your virtual presentation, you can do this. Look at the camera. Okay. Don't stare at just one person the whole talk. If you do this in person or physically on a stage, some people do this. They are not comfortable looking at all the people in the audience, but suppose they have a friend or known person in the audience, so the presenter just look at his friend or her friend because it's comfortable to him. Don't do that. Your audience will notice this. Okay? Don't stare at just one person the whole talk. It is okay to move around energetically if that is your personality. Different people have different personalities, especially when do they public talk, when do present things, make presentations. They use different strategies. Some people just stare in one point, but still make a very good presentation. Some people, they just move. It happens naturally. It is okay to move around energetically if that is your personality, okay? But it should not distract your audience. Suppose a girl is presenting and with a high heel, and when she moves on the stage, sometimes can make a noise and it can distract your audience. So you need to be careful about even these tiny points, okay? Record and listen to your presentation to hear where you first speak too quickly or get it just right. This is very, very important. Record and listen to your presentation to hear where you pause. Am I doing at the correct place? Because if you want to highlight key points, we can pause. Or am I doing it in the wrong place? So you need to identify those things where you pause and speak too quickly. That's okay to speak too quickly and at some point, but are you doing it too much? Speak too quickly. Oh, get it just right. Okay. This is very important. I know since you are going to do virtual presentation at the first round, so most of the students I know even my students back home, they make several presentations, they make several recordings because they are not happy about what they are doing. They want to do another one. Okay, another one. That's good in that case. Yes, record and listen to your presentation. Suppose you are going to participate in a physical competition in person, that means you are going to present on a stage, but still you can do some homework. You can record and listen to your presentation and try to identify your strengths and weaknesses simply. Yes, where you are going to pause, speak too quickly, or get it just right. Okay. Yes. Next one. Look to the stars. What is that? Look to the stars. I know we all have role models in our life. Yes, in our life. Maybe when we were at the school, okay, our teachers, good teachers, we love some teachers most, and they could be our role models. So the principal, madam or sir. Oh, when you're at the university, maybe a lecturer or a professor, yes, could be a role model. Or when we are at work, your senior manager could be your role model or anybody else. But here I'm talking about role models in public speaking. Okay, what's your role models such as academics? It could be a professor or a lecturer or a politician. I don't know. We can find at Sri Lankan context in terms of politicians. I don't know. It is subjective. And journalist, yes, could be a media presenter, TV presenter, even international TV presenter, could be a role model. And break down their strengths and weaknesses. Even though world famous public speakers, they might have their own strengths and also the weak points, weaknesses. So watch their presentations, listen to their public talks, and try to identify their strengths and weaknesses. Analyze how they engage with their audience. This is very important. Don't just watch or don't just listen to public talk. Analyze how they engage with their audience. There are some very good and attractive presenters, public speakers. They engage with their audience in nice manner. Try to get these. Okay. And very important, view presentations by previous 3MT finalists. This can be done very easily because if you just go to YouTube and type 3MT finalist, you will find hundreds or thousands of previous presentation. Very, very important, view presentation by previous 3MT finalists. Yes, I think we better watch one video presentation, 3MT presentation, then we can discuss or we can relate what we learned today to that presentation. And you can learn things from these presentations. Okay, let me stop sharing this slide or this presentation PowerPoints for a while, and let's watch a video, 3MT finalist video. Yes. Give me a few seconds, I will play it. Participants, can you hear that video?
Yes, ma'am, we can.
Yes. Okay, great.
Marie is
Let's watch it.
representing Birmingham Business School this afternoon, and the title of Marie's talk today is Structural Change, Economic Development and Macroeconomic Policy.
Good afternoon. A friend recently uploaded a photo like this of their child, and naturally, it got me thinking about my research. I work with macroeconomic models, that is, models that try to explain a country's economy at the nationwide level. And this picture made me realize that this is the situation I find myself in when it comes to the use of modern models. You see, because these shoes are clearly made for human feet, they're also made for humans in a completely different stage of development to those seen wearing them. I find a quote by Joseph Stiglitz actually puts this most succinctly. He writes that macroeconomics was developed in and for industrialized countries. Both theory and policy were concerned with how monetary and fiscal policy should be used in industrialized economies in order to attain full employment, control inflation, and stabilize economic activity. Developing countries often use this corpus of knowledge without any significant modification, but it is by no means clear that the application of these theories to developing countries is either appropriate or justified. And yet, this is exactly what we do. We take these models that have been built using theories that describe industrialized countries and estimate them to fit developing countries. And then we use them for the type of policy analysis and economic predictions that inform the very decisions we make to better the lives of an entire population. I come from South Africa, arguably the most developed country in sub-Saharan Africa. We have experienced, including the period of the financial crisis, an average growth rate of around 3% per annum for the past 13 years. And in that exact same period, we have seen unemployment average 27%, with it currently sitting around 25%. Modern models find this very hard to capture or explain, and I believe it's because there's something fundamental missing. The shoe just doesn't fit. It is indisputably of vital importance that the models we use to analyze and make our policy decisions capture the structural differences that define us as a developing country in the first place. Aspects such as the agricultural and informal sectors, our level of education and skills, and how all these influence how our economy functions. My research will include both a data-driven study of what encourages and impedes economic growth, as well as the theory-based development of modified macroeconomic models, all with the aim of improving the analysis and implementation of macroeconomic policy in the developing world. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Yeah, I hope you can see the presentation again.
Good afternoon and welcome to the University of Edinburgh's 7th 3-minute thesis competition.
Give me a few seconds. I need to stop. Yeah. I'm coming back with the presentation. Well, we watched her video. She's a 3MT finalist at University of Birmingham. Yes. And did you note her presentation slide? Single slide. We didn't see any text. We didn't see any graphs or any equation. She was talking about macroeconomics models, but she didn't use any empirical or theoretical model, equations, any graphs, anything about data, just an interactive picture, but the picture relates to her story, okay? She nicely presented that picture with her story. And also, did you note her vocal range? At some point, she speaks louder, some points very soft, and some point fast, some point slow, and some point she paused the presentation or the talk to highlight some of the points. But still, we observed some of weak points as well. That's why, dear participants, I'm suggesting you watch previous 3MT videos, okay? Before you start writing your 3MT script, not just before your 3MT presentation or not before you're making your recording, but before you write your 3MT script, you will get amazing ideas, okay, from others. Yes. We have come to the end of our presentation, end of this session. Remember, every good performance is the result of a good, careful preparation and enormous amount of rehearsal. Any good performance, okay? You have only got 3 minutes. In your 3MT competition, you have only got 3 minutes. So make every second count, because every second very important since you have this 3 minutes, okay? And practice, my advice, practice, practice, practice. Okay. Before we wind up the session, I would like to give you a summary of today's session. Okay. You know what is 3MT and the history and why do we need to participate in a 3MT competition? And when you have already decided that you are going to participate in a 3MT competition organized by the Open University of Sri Lanka, and first thing, you should have a nice script, 3MT script. That is very, very important. Remember, you are going to write this script for a non-specialist audience, but don't underestimate the audience. They are intelligent, they are informed, but they haven't had time to do your research, conduct your research. So, and we don't use too much academic language or jargons. And the best thing, try to tell a story, because we all love stories, okay? We like to listen to stories. So try to develop a story based on your research project with a nice open or a start or beginning. You can use an opener, you can write an opener or hook to grab your audience attention, but you should have a clear middle. Don't lose the audience attention in the middle of your talk, and also take home message at the end. What you are doing, why it is important, and what you have achieved or what you would expect to achieve from out of the project. Okay. Then you should make a beautiful slide, but don't overcrowd it. Don't use too much text or complicated graphics, because it can distract your audience attention. It could be just a picture or photo. Okay. It could be a drawing, but it should not be a substitute, but it should complement your oration, your talk. Okay. It should add some value to your talk. Don't just read the slide. Okay. When you make your presentation slide, need to be very careful, and it should be attractive, but it should be related to your project. Okay. It should complement your talk. It should add value to your talk. Then delivering your presentation, the best thing, practice, practice, practice timing. Don't worry about public speaking fear, because it's very common to anybody. Little bit of nervousness, that is completely okay. And practice, practice, practice time into different vocal ranges. Okay, louder or soft, fast or slow, and at some key points you can pause. That is okay. Okay, and your body language, very important, and your eye contact. Even when you make your virtual presentation, 3MT presentation, you can use these techniques. Okay, tips and techniques, you can use them. Keep your head up and straight, your personality and your dress code. There is no special dress code, but it should be professional, of course. Okay, and it should not distract your audience attention. Yes, every good performance is the result of a good and careful preparation and enormous amount of rehearsal. So practice, practice, practice. Okay. And good luck, participants. And thank you very much for your attention. And thank you for having me. Especially, I want to thank Professor Champika Lenagamage. I think she's the chair of this conference, and also Dr. Javardhan and the Dean of the Faculty of Management Studies, Open University of Sri Lanka, and the organizers, and Ms. Navodini. She contacted me first, and Miss Harini and Miss Vinodra, they contacted me in several times. Okay, and thank you very much, all the organizers, and have a nice evening. And if you have any question, yes, that's of course you can.
Let's end this evening with a gratitude note. So, dear Shashika Madam, please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation that you made us today. It was very interesting to hear the session. The slides you showed gave us a deeper knowledge what the participants exactly needed to perform well in the 3MT Grand Finale. That we couldn't have gained in any other way. And then now I think the 3MT participants have a good exposure on the 3MT concept. And there's one more announcement from our side. The deadline for the 3MT video submission for ICOME 2023 will be informed to you very shortly. And then finally, thank you very much, the Dean, Conference Chairperson, heads of the departments, academic and members of Faculty of Management Studies, and all our 3MT participants. And also, I would like to thank all the participants for actively engaging in this session. We're eagerly waiting to see you all in the ICOME 2023 and 3MT Grand Finale. Thank you very much and have a great evening.